Hi everybody, Dani Bader here, and just wanted to drop in again with something for you to consider as we continue through this time that we're moving through. The lessons of life that we get come from an awful lot of different places, a lot of very interesting places, experience, and all. And let me just share one with you. One that came for me. It was probably back in the late 1980s. I had graduated college. I took a sales job or two that I really didn't care for. And I went out on the mission of finding myself. Maybe some of you did that when you were younger. So I did what the logical person would do. I quit my job. I went down to New Jersey and tended bar in Avalon and Stone Harbor. And then when the summertime ended, I even got more logical and I moved to Aspen, Colorado, where I would work tending bar and work on the mountains and those things. And my mom would always say to me, well, did you find yourself yet, Daniel? And I would say, no, Mom, but the snow was great yesterday. So at any rate, I remember I was out there and I was working for a friend of mine, Tony, who was running a wonderful hotel, still running the Hotel Jerome out there. And I was working for him and I had some other jobs. And one week, his parents came out with some other family members and wonderful, wonderful people. And they said to me, Mr. and Mrs. D said to me, listen, we're going tomorrow and we're going to take a mogul skiing lesson and we want you to come with us. And I said, no, it's your family and everything else. And they're just great people. They said, no, you're coming with us, and that's all there is to say. So I said, all right, great. So we go out on this beautiful day right now. I had been skiing a little bit and was getting better, but the moguls were always a bit of a challenge, right? Those bumps, those unexpected. And I'll never forget, we were in the lesson, right? And there was 2 or 3 instructors, and they were spending time with the group and talking to us, and then individually as well. And I skied down a little bit. I got off balance, and thankfully I didn't fall. But I get there, and the guy looks at me. He says, come here. He said, here's the thing. Here's the magic of skiing the moguls, right? And he's looking at me, dead and locked on. And I really wanted to get better at skiing them. And he said, when you are in the turn right now on one of the moguls, you're there. He says, but you keep looking down at it. And I'm like, yeah. And he said, when you're in the turn, I want you to execute, but I don't want you looking at it. And I'm looking. And I said, where should I be looking? He said, you should be looking 2 turns down. The turn that you're in, you should have already looked at. And I said, all right, go a little more with me. And this is based on a lot of my teaching, right? The ability for us to see where we're headed. When the skiers stand at the top, they see the whole thing before they do it. They feel the runs. When gymnasts and divers, they go through the whole routine right here before they're even on the board or before they're even on the balance beam. So he said to me, here's what I want you to do. I want you to ski it again right now. And before you do, I want you to see your turns, right? Skiers, we know, right? Lori, my friend from Marriott, you probably know the fall line, right? So see the fall line. And I said, great. And he said, when you're in the turn now, I want you to execute on it. You can't just, you just can't be there. You have to be present. He said, I want you to, what do you need to do? And I looked and I said, eyes downhill, right? Shoulders square, hands in front of me, knees bent down, knees out over my boots a little bit, downhill ski on the inside edge. He said, great. Again, I said, eyes downhill, shoulders square, hands in front, knees over the boots, inside edge. Great. So that's the habits that we have to build. So he said, but when you were in the turn on that mogul, you got to be looking down at the next 2. See where you're headed, see yourself there. So as I started to do that, I certainly didn't elevate to a Olympic mogul skier, but I did get a little better and I understand what he meant. And as I think about it now in life, and especially in these uncertain times that we're in, and it looks like April, we're all going to be home again. So I'd encourage you to think about skiing the moguls a little bit. I've already done it. I've already kind of seen Monday, I've seen Tuesday, I've seen Wednesday, what I have coming up right now. In terms of everything, my work, my writing, my meditation, getting a few runs in, workouts, talking to people, phone calls, seeing all those things. I want you to start to experiment with that. And then when you're in the day, right, when you're in Monday tomorrow, certainly you're executing. But here's the other thing to consider. In these days right now, it's a great opportunity for us to build new habits because we have really kind of slowed down. So think to yourself, when you're skiing the moguls, great mogul skiers are not thinking about eyes downhill, shoulders square, hands in front, knees. They've done it so many times, it's now a habit. So think about, we got April in front of us right now. What new habits do you need to develop for yourself? How about when you first get out of bed, what are you saying to yourself? What's the opening line? How about then you grab a cup of coffee or tea and you grab a journal of some sort and you start to write a little bit? How about when am I going to get that exercise in throughout the day? How about when am I going to get my meditation in and be still throughout the day? Some of these jackrabbit principles. So I would encourage you to think about that, skiing the moguls, right? You are in this turn, but you're not looking at it because you already saw it. And now you're moving to the future. It's that dance between here and vision, which I think is so powerful for us, right? So Einstein had a great quote that I'll use sometimes, and think about that, because when you're going to the future and you're looking downhill or you're thinking about your days right now, and I mean, I've already been July 4th on the beach in Cape May. That's how far I'm going out, right? COVID-19, we're through it. We've survived to the best of our ability, and we've thrived, and I'm on the beach in Cape May with my friends and my family. That's the vision that I'm holding. But Einstein said this. He said, imagination is more important than knowledge. And we've heard that so many times, but here's the rest of the quote. Imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited. See, knowledge is what we know right now. COVID-19 is here. Our investments are going down. For some of us, our jobs may never be the same. We may need to have new ones right now. Relationships will be hurt. I get it. They're the facts. But he said knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world, stimulating progress and giving birth to evolution. One more time from Albert. Imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world, stimulating progress and giving birth to evolution. So, as best you can today, have a wonderful Sunday fun day. I know that they're different than they normally are when we're watching football or March Madness or down at the beach for a 4 o'clock happy hour at an outside bar. But at 1 o'clock today on CBS, Villanova University will beat Georgetown again in 1985 for their first national championship. So you may want to take a look at that and keep an eye on the cheerleaders too. And as you set off in your Sunday fun day and the rest of the week, I encourage you to just think about that. Think about practicing skiing the moguls, seeing where you're headed, executing in real time, but always having an eye on that vision. And I think you will all have a great week. And if we do that for the next 4, we'll be into May. So until the next time I drop in and share some wisdom with you, and this may be developing a habit for you. Some of you going, yeah, I like watching Dani Bader's video. And I'm like, oh my God, I have it. More Dani Bader. No more Dani Bader. Anyhow, have a great Sunday. God bless, and trust that we are all moving through this.